Go ahead.
Certainly, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. So I want to begin my comments with making a statement that I think we have come after much discussion among ourselves to the agreement that we're going to consider two bond referendums, right? One for 13.5 and one for 4.5, right? So with that, I'm going to make some comments along those lines. It's going to take a little time, folks, so bear with me. Prior to 2000, the Cape Fear River Channel had been dredged many times over, decades to help ensure proper shipping along the Cape Fear River. But its impact on Bald Head, we saw that pretty early on. Several houses had to be moved. The old villas were lost to the ocean, overwashed from Hurricane Floyd, covered South Bald Head Wind. Salt water infiltrated the golf course lagoons. It was a pretty bad time for the island, and we were pretty seriously concerned about the future, particularly the southwest side and its impact. But if you lose any part of the island, it has impact on the whole island. And then the Ports Authority and the Corps of Engineers deepened, widened, and shifted the channel around 2000 closer to Bald Head, accelerating the erosion. The village worked diligently through tough discussions and negotiations with the Corps and other parties to create the current sand management plan. Unfortunately, it called for sand to come to Bald Head only 2 of every 3 channel dredgings. That 4-year span of no sand allowed for significant erosion, and again, we found ourselves deeply concerned about the condition of the west end of South Beach. Thus, the council embarked on a major effort to provide additional stabilization of the beaches by seeking legislative approval to construct a terminal groin, by establishing plans to maintain and replace the soft groin field, and placing sand on South Beach during the 4 years that we went without it. Those efforts were to be paid through a referendum dedicating 8 cents or thereabouts to the general tax rate, plus creating 2 municipal service districts, A and B, A being oceanfront, B being a row back up to the dune ridge, essentially, to pay for this expanded work. In effect, every property owner paid in some form or fashion. Those most closely impacted paid a little more. Since the inception of the Beach Renourishment Fund, property owners on the east end of the island have been paying to stabilize West Beach and 60% of South Beach. I believe it's only fair that the rest of us repay the favor and contribute to the stabilization to the beaches on the east end of South Beach. Why? Because our beaches are our most important asset. There would be no Bald Head Island without all of our public beaches. Our real estate values would not be what they are without our beaches. That the burden of financing these village operations, including beach stabilization, falls almost exclusively on residential property owners is no accident. We've chosen to disallow any industrial tax base. We've chosen to severely limit commercial development. We have purposefully chosen an island vision of environmental sustainability, protecting as much as possible our island's flora and fauna. We are purposefully a residential community, and accordingly, the tax burden falls on the residential sector. But let's stop talking about taxes for a minute. Why would we consider placing sand on the east end of South Beach? As I said earlier, the village made a bold move to aggressively stabilize the west end of South Beach and West Beach. And when I say the village, it was the council who proposed and the voters who approved by a 90-10 margin to fund in 2014 this major effort to install its terminal groin, replace the soft groin field, place sand on the west end of South Beach. As a result, those beaches are in very good shape right now. The efforts have worked. However, South Beach is in very good shape, only about 60% of the way down. The east end is suffering. It has not seen the full benefit or much benefit at all from a sand management plan. That end of the island is now facing continual erosion. In my view, and in view of the many people that have spoken with me about this, We, as an island community, need to protect the entire beach shoreline, not just part of it. The village is pursuing long-term measures to address this problem, including approval and installation of soft groins, such as have been installed on the west end of South Beach, and gaining approval to use frying pan shoals as a borrow site. These objectives will help provide long-term stabilization at the east end, similar to what we experience on the west end. There is still much design and engineering work to be done to ensure the viability of this solution. Sand placement next year is but a short-term but necessary step to allow us to get to the longer-term solution that will benefit all of the island residents. Let me add that Jaybird Shoals has reached the end of its useful life as a borrow site. According to Eric Olson, the village's coastal engineer, the 2025 project will have harvested most all the useful beach quality sand from that area. Going forward, there is no place to secure sand for future village renourishment projects. Obtaining approval to use frying pan shoals as a borrow site is critical and essential to the long-term stability of our island beaches. Consequently, I support two separate bond referendums, both to be paid back over a 7-year term. One totaling 13.5 for the beach stabilization on the west end of the island, as Chris described, and one to the east, second bond for 4.5 million for the east end of the island. Voter approval of these referendum will give the village maximum flexibility to ensure the beaches on both the east and west end of South Beach are stabilized, to allow more time to secure permitting and approval for a soft growing field and allowance for frying pan shoals as a borrow site. This flexibility will allow for not placing sand in the middle of South Beach, which is doing quite well right now. So the 13.5 will move from the point west end to round up to about the morning warbler or black skimmer trail area, and then don't need to place any sand from there all the way out to Flores Bluff, is that the beaches up there are fine right now. But then we would pick back up and place sand from the Flores Bluff Kilauea Ridge area further east to the point. The East End project may well result in a tax increase, primarily depending on whether or not we get a federal grant of 4.5 million that we have requested. If we do not receive the federal grant and decide to move forward with the authorization of the full amount, this could result in increasing or reallocating 6 cents on the general tax rate and increasing the municipal service rates by 2 cents each. Furthermore, I want you to think about this. I believe now is the time for all of us to consider the fact that the current tax rates for beach stabilization, which work for West Beach and 60% on the west end of South Beach, is not sufficient to ensure the stabilization of all of our beaches. Some have suggested we decide today that we pursue only the project on the west end of the island and cease all consideration of the east end project. They say we should not consider this until we have a town hall meeting. Today's action simply establishes our proposal to the North Carolina Local Government Commission and establishes upper limit for potential borrowing. We will decide at our December meeting whether we will actually move forward with both referendum and will decide the language on both of those ballots, as I understand it. We fully plan to hold a public meeting in December. You'll hear about that shortly, as well as an education session with Q's and A's. We will allow voters and all property owners to learn more and to better understand the implications of the referendum. And to fund the project on both ends of South Beach, including the effect on our property taxes. This way, we'll let the voters decide whether or not to move forward with the East End project. Both sides have plenty of time to get out the vote for the March referendum. I support 2 bond proposals that give maximum flexibility to resolve longstanding beach erosion problems. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks.